Welcome. I have the pleasure of being joined here by Mark Diamond, the CEO of Antisense Therapeutics. Mark, always a pleasure to talk with you. How are you?
No, very well. Thank you, Michael.
It's always great to talk with you, Mark. Welcome back. And for those in the audience who may have missed it the last time we chatted, can you please tell us what Antisense is all about and what exactly the company does?
Certainly, Michael. So we are an Australian-based biopharmaceutical drug development company. We're listed on the Australian Stock Exchange. We also have a level one ADR operating in the US and dual listed on the Frankfurt Exchange. As the company suggests, we are focused on developing and commercializing antisense pharmaceuticals. These are drugs that we have access through a long-standing collaboration with US-based company Ionis Pharmaceuticals. We are focusing in the rare disease space, and our most advanced program is for a rare disease called Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's a devastating muscle wasting disease of boys, and we are very fortunate to advance that program now through to late stage of clinical development. So the company is about to embark on what we call a phase 2B clinical trial for our drug H1102 in Duchenne muscular dystrophy in Europe and locally here in Australia.
Incredible. Okay, so with that context, can you give us some more information about Duchenne muscular dystrophy and how big a problem this really is on a large scale?
Certainly, Michael. Firstly, it's important to note it is a devastating muscle wasting disease which affects boys only. There are about 44,000 boys in the Northern Hemisphere that have Duchenne muscular dystrophy. It's caused by a faulty gene in these boys, which is responsible for producing a protein that is required for normal muscle function. And so over time, these boys lose the strength and function of their muscles. Unfortunately, it is 100% fatal disease where there are currently no curative therapy. So the goal of those in drug development looking to help these boys with Duchenne's is to find a treatment that can slow the progressive loss of muscle function and ideally prolong the life of these boys.
Understood. Now, you announced plans for an ATL 1102 toxicology study to support a clinical program in the US back in November. Can you give us some background on that and where you stand currently?
So, Michael, that's correct. We have now plans to initiate a animal safety study on AT1102. This was a requirement of the US FDA for us to be able to administer AT1102 in patients in US trials beyond 6 months of dosing. So this toxicology study will run for nine months. And so what the FDA have asked us is to be able to produce the data from this animal study to allow us to dose beyond that 6-month time frame. So we're very excited about starting that program, and now it establishes a clear path for us towards long-term clinical studies in the US.
Excellent context. Okay, so some of your competitors, when it comes to the competition in the space, what makes you different and really makes you stand out against the people that you're working with?
So, Michael, this disease indication, Duchenne muscular dystrophy, there are very few treatment options for the boys. We are focusing on boys that are more advanced with Duchenne's, and so these boys, unfortunately, have lost the ability to walk, so they become wheelchair bound. And for those boys, there really are very few treatment options. The only real one that's available for these boys are a treatment therapy class called the corticosteroids. These are a broad-acting anti-inflammatory medicine. They're not particularly effective in these boys, and they cause some very substantial side effects. So we're looking at a way of better treating these non-ambulant boys than the corticosteroids. Our drug works by a very targeted immune modulating anti-inflammatory mechanism. We're the only drug company in the world that has a drug in development for Duchenne's that works through the particular mechanism of action of our drug. It allows our drug to be used alongside the corticosteroids and potentially with any other drugs that are in development or on the market for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So we're very fortunate to be in a space where there's little competition and where we've got a unique product offering.
Absolutely. And what's on the horizon for Antisense in the new year when it comes to 2023?
Sure. So the focus is on our lead program in Duchenne muscular dystrophy, in initiating and running our phase 2B clinical trial, which we, as I said, we are running in Europe and Australia here. We also looking forward to advance our toxicology study, as I mentioned earlier, that we're using to set ourselves up for longer clinical development in the US. So we're looking forward to that study kicking off and reporting on the progress. And then there's news around those other pipeline initiatives, Michael, that we highlighted in limb-girdle muscular dystrophy, in the combination use of HL1102 with the dystrophin restoration agents, and in long COVID. So we're expecting 2023 to be a huge year for Antisense Therapeutics, with lots of material news flow anticipated, early in the year and throughout the year. So quite possibly, the most seminal year for the company. So it's very exciting to be sitting here, anticipating that type of performance of the company into 2023.
Fantastic. And finally, what's next for you personally, Mark, when it comes to the new year coming up here?
Well, Michael, I have advised that I will be, after 21 years as at the head of Antisense Therapeutics as the CEO and managing director, I will be stepping down as CEO in the new year. The plan is that once my successor is appointed, I'll be working with them on a smooth transition into the new role. I'm expecting to stay on in some form or guise with Antisense Therapeutics to help guide the company in through these late-stage clinical trials in Duchenne's. But I'm also looking forward to new horizons and new challenges, Michael. So it's going to be a very, very interesting 2023 for not only the company but my own self.
Fantastic. As always, a pleasure to talk with you. Mark Diamond, CEO of Antisense Therapeutics. Can't wait to have you back in the new year.